The name of this workshop is What's Love Got to Do with It? Is anyone familiar with that song? It's a song from Tina Turner. What's Love Got to Do with It? Uh-oh. And there's even a movie. All right, so tell what do you guys know about that? Come on, somebody tell me what's love got to do? Tina Turner. Hey, yeah. That song, What's Love Got to do with it, right? So why was Tina Turner saying what's love got to do with it? Ike was her husband, and Ike was supposed to love her, but what was Ike doing to her? Abusing her, right? And taking advantage. So, but yet he said he loved her. So now, do you love your students? That's the question. Do you love your students? Are you supposed to love your students? Because guess what? If you, I hear somebody saying, absolutely. Okay, that person tell me, I'm Jerica, I'm not, because I want them to be able to talk back. So is this something I did where they can't unmute? Because I want them to be able to talk back to me.
I think it's just the settings. Let me see. Let me see what I can do. Hold on.
Yeah, see what you could do, because I like my students to be able to mute and unmute, right?
Okay, that shouldn't be a problem. Let me look at the settings.
This is so technology. Look at my smart students. I got my smart students hat. Look, they
can't even see me, but I'm here.
Yeah. This is my tall.
I think everyone. Hi, everyone. I think everyone can unmute now, Dr. Nunley.
Oh. Okay. Now,
but why am I looking all white over? That usually means I'm ready to go away.
Well, so if people unmute in your room, you're going to get feedback. But if participants unmute that are other places, you're not going to get feedback. So I'm wondering if we could do this where the people who are with you are writing in the chat, and the people who are at home somewhere else, we can unmute, because otherwise you're going to keep getting feedback.
Okay, got it. But what I'm worried about,
someone's laptop is not muted.
Oh, there we go. It was spinning and spinning. So I thought what was going to happen is I was going to go away again. Okay, it's just not meant for me to share. So let me tell you a little bit about me. Okay, so yes, I am a tenured professor at City College of San Francisco, but I am also an educational consultant. I do consulting all over the world. I have done it in Kenya, done it in London, done some things in Jamaica. So basically, I understand learning and development.
Oh no, we lost you again, Doctor. Can folks tell her we lost her again?
She's going to rejoin from someone's
laptop. So now talk.
Okay. So now I'm using someone else's computer, one of my students. Okay, so in the meantime, can somebody go over there and like shut down? I have too many windows open over there. So I know, my students are laughing at me because they know me. Okay. So now, again, let me say this. Some of you may only know me as a tenured professor at City College of San Francisco, but I'm actually an educational consultant, and I do consulting all over the world, particularly in Africa. And so I get really concerned about Western science and the way that we understand things. We say things like you're not supposed to love your student. Is that okay? We say we don't want you to love your student because we feel like some of you guys are pervs, right? And you're weird and you might fall in love with the students for real. When I was actually in high school, there were some teachers that did inappropriate things with the students, right? But I'm used to teaching young children. And with young children, if they feel like you don't love them, you can't teach them. If they feel like you don't love them, you can't teach them. Is that true? Wait, Dr. Nunley, you can still teach them, but you won't be as effective. So now there's 3 types of teachers. There is the early childhood educator. That person is a caregiver first. and then a teacher. They're a caregiver and a teacher. Then there's the elementary, high school, etc. That's the teacher. Then there's someone like myself. I'm a teacher educator. So we got the caregiver teacher, the teacher, and the teacher educator. So what do you want to be? And do you need to, is love important in any of those different spaces? So unmute yourself and somebody tell me, are you a caregiver teacher, a teacher, or do you want to be a teacher educator? That's usually a college professor, okay? So somebody unmute and tell me what they plan to do. Da, 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 da. No one, no one. Jericho, is there anything in the chat? I can't see the chat.
I will read anything in the chat, and I invited people to unmute, and you have a hand from Stephanie.
Stephanie, talk to me. What do you
So I
want
think
to
you
be?
really gotta love your students. I've been an elementary school teacher almost 8 years full time plus. I've been in education for over like 15 years now, and you really gotta love the students. I've never worked with babies except as a substitute. So if you don't love the kids, you go to work day in and day out, and you're just gonna call it a job. So right now I'm at a turning point where I want to teach the teachers. So I'm planning to teach at USF and go on to
Yay.
get my doctorate. So I think if you don't love the kids, you're in the wrong profession. Don't go into it. You got to really love the babies.
Okay, so Stephanie say you have to really love them. But Stephanie, guess what? In the United States of America, guess what I've discovered? There are many, many people working in the profession, and they're in the profession just because their transcripts in the other country didn't translate to our country. And so now you got people who they don't like kids, but they need to eat. Ooh, wait, Dr. Nunley called them kids. That's incorrect. Dr. Nunley's old. A kid is a baby goat. They should be called children. But Stephanie, what do you do when the bar is so low that anyone can enter into our field? So I don't have to like children, but I just need a job. What do you think about that? You only need
I
4
don't know.
classes. Can you
Honestly,
imagine that? Go ahead.
I can imagine that. For me, I'm just living the dream. And I've never taught with the babies. I've taken almost, when I got my ECE practitioner last December at City College, I'm just taking continuing education because I already have a master's and a bachelor's, and I did all that back in 2010. So
Wait,
if you
Stephanie,
really
wait.
love it,
You have a master's and a bachelor's.
yeah.
Guess what, Stephanie? In order to teach in early childhood, you need to get a C or better in 4 classes, and then you get to be an assistant or a teacher, assistant teacher. Can you imagine that?
I can. That's not enough units for me.
And that's why people don't want to pay us money. They say we're glorified babysitters.
I don't agree personally.
Other thoughts? So here she's sitting with her master's degree and all of that. What about other people? Thoughts?
Dr. Natalie, can you remind folks who are with you in the room to mute themselves because we're getting feedback, and they should put their comments in the chat and I'll go ahead and read them. So Melissa said we need to change that. Dr. Nunley, we have to change that.
How do we change that?
I think we change it by us being in the profession. We need to make our voice heard. I know we do that often, especially around pay, but I think we need to start doing that around quality as well. We talk about quality a lot, but when we're in a bind, we just say, are you breathing? Do you have how many units you're hired? And I think we need to stop doing that because we do ourselves a disservice.
Yeah. Any other thoughts? Because you know what? Let's go back to elementary teachers and junior high. You're not supposed to touch the students. You can't touch the students, but yet we know in human development, touch is very important. So how is that? I can't touch the student, but I'm supposed to work with the student. Now, and then sometimes, have you guys heard this? The children, they are like off the hook and they're hitting the teachers. And guess what? The teacher can't do anything but go get the security guard. They're not supposed to fight them back. I understand not touching them that way, but we're not supposed to touch them in any way. Like I'm a touchy-feely person. When I work in the jail, oh my goodness, you're not supposed to touch people. is so hard for me. And they used to say, Dr. Nunley, don't touch us, don't touch us. You'll get us in trouble. So, but what about the people who have been molested and touch is bad and you need to get permission? So, ooh, this is confusing. Help me out. So how can I love you if I can't touch you? I don't have an answer. I'm asking y'all. Do you need to touch a person to love a person? Not necessarily, Mel says. How do you know, Mel, if I'm not touching you, how do I show love to you as a teacher? Words of affirmation, encouragement. Okay, so words of affirmation.
Dr.
Can I
Nunley,
give you a word of affirmation if I don't speak your language? No? Google
and
Translate.
Dr. Lynn, there's a couple of ideas in the chat. So
Go ahead.
somebody put praise, somebody put high fives, somebody put building connections.
Okay. So remember I said, what if I don't speak your language? A long, long time ago, when I first started teaching, I only taught African-American children, 4 and 5-year-old children, and they were at a Christian school. And this Latino grandma accidentally came to the school. I thought it was an accident, really wasn't an accident. Her son had went there, and now she was raising her grandson. So then she brings her child there, and she comes in my classroom, and I'm like, oh no, sweetie, I don't speak Espanol. I can't teach him because it was 4 or 5. And I'm like, I'm not going to be able to teach him because when he gets hurt, he's going to go to his mother tongue and I won't know what to do. And I'll be like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, how do I help him? How do I help him? And you know what that grandma told me? She said, it's okay because you speak love. So he can be in here. So what did she mean by that I was speaking love? Because I wasn't speaking Espanol. He didn't understand English yet, but what is it to speak love? What does that mean? What was grandma talking about?
I uh I think for me when I think about all of this is going back to the basics of like, for example, that example that you gave about the child getting hurt. We don't need to necessarily only hug them or whatever. It's like, oh, let me check your leg, or we got to wash it, right? We got to put the Band-Aid on it. Let me get you a sticker, put a sticker on your shirt or whatever. You're brave, high fives, smiley faces. And then, of course, I feel like it is also important for touch. I feel like a lot of articles came out during COVID-19
Mm-hmm.
that a lot of people suffered through so many things because of not being able to touch their loved one, whether it was a hug, whether it was a kiss on the cheek, whether it was a high five, whether just that physical touch is important. And I
Mm-hmm.
think today and age, we've come to terms with we have to ask for permission before we even give it now, if it's not in our circle. So I
Right.
know there's like parents who are teaching their children, like people have to ask you to hug you, or people have to ask you what you're comfortable with, and so I'm all for everything, but I think it gets difficult when we talk about the younger ages, because then who are we
Right.
supposed to ask? Are we supposed to ask the parents?
Right. That's
Like
true.
how,
And then
it kind of goes into this whole whirlwind.
and then what about cultures like I'm old school African American culture
Mm,
where it's like all the adults got to kiss you and hug you and go over there. And then sometimes there was a creepy uncle or a creepy auntie. And it's like, what the heck? And you still had to put up with that because I teach trauma classes too.
right.
So how do you figure that out? Because Western science tells us about something called failure to thrive. And failure to thrive happens when a newborn, an infant never gets touched. We used to think that when you're born premature, you need to go into the NICU and everything has to be sterile and sanitized, etc. Now we know low birth weight baby, you need to put them on the mom's chest so the mom can massage and touch. We know touch is healing and touch helps you grow. But maybe we're not supposed to be healers, we're teachers, caregivers. I don't know, y'all. Help me. What? What if touch is
Dr. Nunley, there's a few ideas in the chat. So somebody wrote, does body language show love? Actions can show you care. You can show your concern with your eye contact, tone of voice. soft, that in a way that shows compassion.
Oh, wait, Jerica, wait. So with your eye contact, what about cultures that don't believe in eye contact? See, that's very Western. Tone of voice, my voice, I'm some people it's like, oh my God, that's not loving. And then others like, my grandma sound like that. My mother sounds like that. So what about that? Are we just picking Western ways of understanding how to give love? Because our textbooks teach us those things, right? I remember I got in all kind of trouble when I was first on the tenure track. First thing they said about me is I'm mean, my tone, etc. And I tried to tell them that's how Black teachers get down. That's what we do. But my fellow colleagues, and they were not all white, they felt like, no, you're just too mean. So what is love a cultural thing too? I don't, help me out. What I have one of my students. Ali, go, Ali, what you think? Wait, hold on.
I think that love is about connection, and I think that you can show someone you love them through the simple act of trying. If you're trying to teach someone or you're trying to show understanding, I think that's an act of compassion, and that therefore is showing love right there. Even if you're not making a actual language-wise connection, like you can still communicate with somebody and show that you're trying to understand someone, even if they don't speak your language, which is an act of compassion or love.
Oh. Okay. Anyone else in my, because I have brilliant students. Carlos. Okay, now, I'm calling on Carlos because you know why? Carlos is a male and Carlos is a Latino male. And guess what? We got this thing. We think we got this thing where Latino males are so machismo that they're not good fathers. They are some of the most loving, kindest fathers, right? And so when you see Carlos rolling up in the classroom, are you going to think, oh, he's a child molester? Are you going to say, he must be gay and he's coming to be a pedophile? Are you going to say Carlos can be in that room and be loving because we have all these stereotypes about men and touch? So is that why we don't want to touch? Go, Carlos.
No. No, we're we're not. No, I don't think so. So, Natalie.
Yeah, I did. We got another because Carlos
Thank you
said,
for-
no, Carlos, come on now. You're taught to give rationale, not just no, I don't think so. Go.
Jesus. No, I don't think so. I think men can be many things and they can be very gentle, very we are hiring now a male teacher for a preschool. So and I think it's gonna work out. So yes, men can work out. Yes.
Well, my name is Marilyn. I'm Latina in Nicaragua specifically. If somebody sees you in the street hugging someone, then automatically that man is your boyfriend or your partner or you're sleeping with them. When I came here in the United States, I I didn't think that hogging was normal, but friends here, they're like, "Oh, can I give you a hug?" And I'm like, "No," because then my mom is going to think, "Oh, you're dating that guy," and I was not allowed to date. So then, I saw that as normal because everybody was doing it. But then one time, my mom saw me hugging someone and she vented on me. She said, "Why are you hugging them? Are they your boyfriend? You're dating this and that." And then I felt bad and I was like, "Okay, then I'm not supposed to even talk to boys or even hug them." And then now she's understanding that hugging is normal in the United States. But because in Nicaragua it's not normal, then she comes with that mindset of you're not supposed to hug men, then men is going to think that you want to be with them, or if you stick your tongue out, they think that you want to have sex with them. And I learned that from my grandma. you're not supposed to stick your tongue out. You're not supposed to do this to men because they think you want to have sex with them or something like that. So then I grew up with that mindset of, okay, men are bad people, or I don't know, just they're not able to work with women because then if you give them like an entry of oh hey, or you smile to them, then I don't know if you guys understand what I'm trying to say. They think that because you're being polite, you want to be with them or have sex with them.
So we're still trying to figure things out in here. So what I'm hearing though is maybe our cultures don't allow for men to be in the space. Our culture also may not allow for us to be loving. So, more thoughts? I got more thoughts. And this is our sister from Ukraine, right? So, hey.
Yeah. Hello, my name is Yulia. Nice to meet you guys. Um, I'm working at preschool now here in San Francisco, and here in college in our classes we're learning, and before I have learned a lot of information about the children, and the first from the birth, from they learn this world is with the help of the touches, the sensitive, and here they spend a lot of time in preschools. Most of their the day of their day is 10 more hours, and that's why really often they ask, could you hand me, could you do my hair, I need to touch them, and it's their request. They are always, and their parents very happy after when we have a conversation how their day. We always discuss about them, and I think if it in right ways, if you did the right things, I mean, you help the kids, they help the children, you as the parents knows about, everybody knows about, sorry for my English, sometimes I'm confused, and there is no problem. The kids, they the children, they always needs to touch, always need to hand, and they it's their individuals. Yes, it's a way to communicate with adults. Thank you. Do you want to add something? You want, I know.
Hello, my name is Natalie. I'm in Dr. Nunley's class, and like Yulia said, I agree. I do think there are cultural differences when it comes to affection. I also work with very young children, and I usually let them take lead when it comes to affection. They want to hold my hand, or they ask for a hug, and you know, when they ask for affection, I think it's appropriate to give them affection, but I, you know, as their educator, I never force affection or force any ideas that I have in terms of affection on them. Yeah, that's my opinion.
So I'm sorry, we're still trying to see if I can figure out how to get the PowerPoint going. So, anyone else? So we had the Ukrainian culture, Latino male, female. Any other thoughts around love and touch? And can you teach and be effective? If you don't touch, can you show love without touching? If no one else has anything, I'm thinking about Tupac and Tupac Shakur. So now Tupac has something that he called thug life. See right on the shirt? Tupac? Okay. So Tupac, does anybody know what thug life meant? What does it mean?
The hate you give.
Say it is
The hate you give.
little children,
That's
everyone. So there's also hate. Is love the opposite of hate? Is love the opposite of hate? Did anyone see that movie? Where the little child, I mean, so is love the opposite of hate? And then there's an African proverb called that says, the child will burn down the village to feel the warmth. Children want to feel love. And when they don't, they act out. So thoughts about that. The hate you give little children F's everyone. So when we withdraw love, are we really, really messing children up? And I'm so sorry we're having all these trouble. I'm having all this trouble with the PowerPoint.
We can see your slides, Dr. Nunley.
Oh, you can?
Yeah, we can see your slides. So if you want to, you can go to present mode, or if you want to keep it like this, we can see you above it.
Oh, so I should do it over here. Oh, you can see it? Oh, okay. So, okay. All right. So all right, here we go. So it says Aquaba. That's a Ghanaian word for welcome. And the first thing I would have done is give thanks to my living ancestors, right? Because that's what we do in the African way. Then I give thanks to my disciplined ancestors. Then I would have acknowledged the land of the Mwekma people. And because this is the land that we stand on. And then I would tell you that I live and walk in this land as my ancestors before me who traveled here before Columbus. So I do it with humility and pride because historian living ancestor Dr. John Henry Clark, aka the bad boy of the academy, it reminds us Africans journey far beyond Africa and merge their cultures, language, and technical know-how with others without ever declaring a war against any group. Africans left Africa with their humanity intact and respected the humanity of all other people in their journey abroad. So that's how I walk in the world. There are many people, it's like Dr. Nunn's a racist. I'm not a racist, okay? So I'm African-centered, and I have respect for everybody, just as my African ancestors did. I don't have to destroy you, etc. So I greet you using South African greetings. I use isiXhosa. I say Molweni, Dumalang, Sakubona. And then I also say Saubona, which means we see you. And you respond back, Yabo Saubona. So we see you. It is me, my ancestors after me that came before me, and the ones that come after me. So Saubona. So students are not theories, and their teachers need to know theories. Students are not theories, and their teachers need to know theories. So self-love is linked to self-efficacy. An effective teacher has both. Do you know what efficacy is? Self-love is about if you don't love you, you can't love me. If you don't love you, you can't love me. So that is really, really important. Dr. Cornell West, Dr. Wade Nobles. Dr. Cornell West told me when I was teaching at Mills College, I'm like, I'm sick of teaching here. I don't want to be here with all these rich white girls that want to come and save little poor people and Black and brown people. Can't I just go with my people? Dr. Cornell West told me, Sister Mills, I need you to stay there because they need to know how to interact with people that look like you. Dr. Wade Nobles told me, Dr. Nunley, Patricia, this is what you need to do. You need to teach white teachers to do less harm, and you need to tell Black teachers do no harm. I'm like, excuse me, that's not fair. He said, yes, it is fair. Because as a Black teacher, if you treat a Black child wrong, you're like their grandma, their auntie, etc. And then I said, well, does that apply to white teachers with white students and Chinese teachers? He said, yes, everyone. So if you don't like who you are and you are a Chinese person and you're teaching Chinese children, you're going to teach them to have internalized self-hatred. If you are from El Salvador and you don't like your Salvadorian self, and then you're teaching a Salvadorian child, you're going to teach that child to have internalized self-hatred. You gotta love who you are, purple, green, yellow, or whatever. What is efficacy? Efficacy is how you feel about your ability to do something. If you think you're incompetent, it's going to come off. So I love my African self. So these are all the things I've done. I'm not even wasting. I told you, I traveled all over the place. I've done theories, concepts, etc. I've even written curriculum for this college. This college doesn't teach my curriculum because they said nobody knows how to do it. But I have written curriculum too. So these are some of my theories and concepts, right? I can go on and on. I've done it for California Head Start. I've done it in London, done it in all kind of places. So basically, I've written journal articles, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm a published author and I also conduct research. But what I love to do the most is teach my students at City College, right? So I love all my students, not just my Black and brown ones. So this is an example of one of my classes. So this is fall 2023. These are some of my students. See what they look like? Y'all see anybody Black? Oh, me. Oh, yeah, okay. So I have taught elementary school teachers. There I am way in the back. You see somebody Black? I think it might be one or two, right? So I love my students. Again, City College. Oh, wow, there's a Black person. What up, Marva, right? So, and there's Ruby. Ruby right there in the middle. That's like one of my white children right there, okay? So I love my students, right? Again, here's some more of my students. So I love my students. I love myself and I love my students, okay? More students again. So now, Tina Turner asks, what's love got to do with it? Tina Turner says she's taken a new direction. She's thinking about her own protection and it scares her. So it might scare you to really love your students. It might scare you to really love yourself. So I need you to go figure that out, then come teach children, okay? You gotta love you, gotta love yourself. You gotta feel good about what you do. But you also have to protect yourself. Maybe teaching is not for you because it triggers too many things in you, and that's okay too. So now, Harry Harlow, I wanted us to, but I'm even scared to try this. I wanted us to look at this video, but I'm afraid things might go goofy. So we're not going to do that. Okay. So primary human emotions. How many are there? Come on, I'm listening. Come on, child development people. How many primary human emotions? I'm ready. Tick, 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 tick. What are they? How many? What are they? Tick, tick. Here's a hint. Here's a hint. Here's two right there. What are those? What are those? What are the two that we're doing? Okay. So this is sadness, you think? Sadness, and what's the other? Okay, what's this one? Okay. One of my students told me to, oh, nope, nope. Oh, see, shouldn't have did that. Ah, there we go. There we go. All right. All right. So which one is that?
Happy.
Yeah, happy or joy. And we got that one right. And now this one, what's this one? Fear. Yeah. Those are the primary human emotions, right? And so I just love this. Does this look like joyful? Do you have to touch this person for them to feel like that? Maybe, maybe not, right? It's like maybe not, but look at the joy. And what about this person? Can you see the sadness there? Yeah. And look at this. What does that look like? Fear, yeah. And this? Joy again. And what's this one? He is mad. He is so mad, right? Okay, so now, what is your impact on children's emotions? That's what I want to know. Are you causing fear in your students? Guess what? I have a feisty temperament and I have to pay attention that sometimes I'm scaring my students and I have to back up and calm down, right? I have to change to a different temperament. I am not supposed to create fear in my students. Are you doing that? Are you developing joyful students? Many times the joy my students have is because they're laughing at me because I've done something goofy. Like the time I backed up and fell over the top of the desk. Thank God I wear leggings all the time, right? So first they laughed and they're like, oh, she could have got hurt. But are you creating joyful students? You should be. Do you make your students feel sad? Do you make them feel sad? Do you elicit anger in your students? Do you? I'm going to go back to what is your role as a caregiver teacher, your role as a teacher, and your role as a teacher educator. Do they show up differently? Should they show up differently? How do they love? Are they supposed to love? Then I'm going to ask you again the different roles. This is a quote, and let's see if I can pull it. Let me see if I can get it. Can somebody read? Oh, there it is. Teachers have three loves: a love of learning, a love of learners, and the love of bringing the first two loves together. I'm going to read that again. Teachers have three loves: a love of learning. Now, I know I love to learn. I mean, I want to go back to school. I can stay in school forever. A love of learners. I love students because guess what? I learn from them too. And then you got to bring the two loves together. I love this quote. Learning to love and accept yourself is basic to human education. Learning to love and accept ourselves is basic to human education. Now, a parent and child, look what this parent wrote. My dear child, I thought I was going to teach you about the world, but instead you are teaching me more about myself. Does everybody understand the power of that quote? Now, this is for responsive parenting, but this goes with teaching too. Teachers, if you're not learning anything from your students, there's something wrong with you. If your students aren't teaching you something, there is something wrong with you. I come from the thought that, you know, when you stop learning, when you die. Until then, you're supposed to continue to learn. So if you think you know it all and you can never learn from a student, please get out of the field. Please, please. Right? So there's a lot of different theories. One of them is about belonging and helping students belong. Are you helping students belong? That's the way of showing love. And the sense of community, it impacts your brain development, right? It messes you up and you feel like you can't learn. So then there's Harry Harlow's hierarchy of needs. So this has been debunked, y'all. For y'all that don't know, I have a specialized master's degree, and my master's degree is in educational leadership, theory, research, and action, right? And so I know these theories deep, and Harry Harlow, this has been debunked because what belongs at the bottom is love and belonging. That's what that video I was going to show. Basically, you have to feel like you are loved and belong. That's more important than food, right? Food can't make you feel like another human can. We're social beings. So how do you boost preschool, a sense of belonging at the preschool level? You can do that. Children know when you don't like them. You know you don't like them. Please be mindful of the way you treat children. They're paying attention. Oh, wait, hold on. Be mindful of the way you treat other teachers. Oh, be mindful of the way you treat yourself. All this stuff is important. You can't demonstrate what you don't have for you. And this is where I did this workshop with for California Head Start called Coloring Outside of the Lines, right? And so this is what someone wrote about one of the theories I did. On Wednesday, we closed the conference with a presentation from Dr. Nunley, who educated us on the A-up approach and how to employ the 5 H's: help, holy, human, hearts, heal. Attendees and staff appreciate the knowledge and shared their honest conversation that took place between Dr. Nunley and our very own executive director. Okay, so why am I bringing this up? A-up, African Ubuntu Pedagogy, at one of the professional developments for City College teachers, and I want to do it again. I took maybe 8 of my own students, and I had the students teach us what we need to do. How do we need to teach them? So I'm worried because see this little child right here? This is a Haitian child, right? And we know what they're saying about the children in Haiti. So how much love does she feel? Because they're saying that, that she eats pets, or her family eats pets. When we talk about caring for and caring about, there are 2 different things. This is our make pets safe again. What about making her safe again? Not that I'm against pets, okay? So now, what about this little child? This is a little Ukrainian child. Remember I showed you a Ukrainian student that I have here, her and her family. We're so happy to have her here. We love her, right? We love our children, right? Again, Ukrainian children. Now, these are the children in Gaza. How much love are we showing for them? Because guess what? Love shouldn't have a color, right? Well, yes, I guess it would have the color red, huh? I don't know. These are families in Gaza. Are we showing love for them? This is another child there, right? Oh, and we kind of forget all about the little African children in Sudan, right? The only time we're paying attention to Black folks right now is the Haitian children, right? So these are the Sudanese children, right? And so, oh, Hurricane Katrina. Oh, let's talk about that. This happened 10 years ago. Now we have Hurricane Helene. Guess what? During Hurricane Katrina, we were actually saying that those Black people were immigrants. So why waste our time saving them? We sent in airplanes to save the dogs and cats. I wish I could have found the article where they sent in private planes and seatbelted in dogs and cats while they left Black people on the ground because they said they're immigrants. So our country's always had this issue. And now when I look at Hurricane Helene, oh my goodness, I watch and the people are crying and sad. People are feeling that. But why can't you feel that for any colored person? A human is a human is a human is a human. So I really don't want you, if you don't love all people, I don't want you to teach. I used to say, okay, just teach. If you only like white people, teach white people, only like Black, etc. I used to say that, but now I realize what happens is your hatred, you're putting it on young children, and then you're teaching them not to love other people. It's a real easy thing you think about. If you are a European ancestry, teaching European ancestry children, those children need to learn that they are not superior. They're not better than everybody. The children of color need to learn that they're not inferior. What if we just did that? Then all of a sudden, everybody, the ones who think they're superior would know that they're not. The ones who think they're inferior would know that they're not. And we would learn, I think, because the children are the future. So I envision the future. I have a half white nephew. I have a Filipino aunt. I have all kind of colored people in my family, right? And I love that diversity. But do you like diversity? You don't have to marry anybody, but love is love, right? It shouldn't matter what the people look like. So here we go. This is Hurricane Helena. Wow, this would elicit a lot of emotions, but should it matter what color they are? Tragedy is tragedy. This is a person in Hurricane Helena too. When I watch the news, have you guys seen any people of color with Hurricane Helena? Have y'all? I mean, every time I see it, they look like these people. Anybody seen any people of color? I mean, what's that all about, right? So those kind of things. And then they politicize it. So if I want to politicize it, I need to make sure that these people don't look like this because then I think they're immigrants and I don't want to, anyway, I'll go on and on. Okay. So look, so all of these children, are they going to end up in our classrooms because their environment's messed up? Oh, look, this was in Hawaii, the fires, right? Are those children going to end up in our classes? They may not look like you, but can you love them? So I'm going to stop there and let's talk. Let's talk because we don't have a lot of time left. So let's talk. What's love got to do with it? Oh, you're supposed to learn how to teach. Well, I don't want you to learn how to teach. I want you to learn how to love yourself and love everybody else. Then we could do teaching. That's the other stuff. So I'm listening. And again, I apologize for all the messed up stuff at the technology. And I thank my class, hey, 53, for saving me. Thank y'all. Thank you. Hey, hey, hey. All right. Yes, I'm listening. Anything? Somebody, all of the theorists, all of the theories of white men and, I think you're saying what impact do they have? I think basically you're saying okay, so yes, what happens is our textbooks that they require us to read, are old dead white men, many of which who studied their own children. Don't be mad at all white people, because guess what? The average white person's daddy was not a scientist, a doctor, etc., right? And so, but what we've done is we act as if that's the only thing that works. And what happens is when you actually go out in the field and you teach, you're having problems because the theories don't work. So I'm African, learn both and, not either or. It's like, and use what works. If I love you, I got to figure out the best way to give you love in the language that you get. You know, that language that, to love you for who you are. I can't try to make you black like me. I want to love you for who you are, and I want you to be the best you can be. So come on, because I could run my mouth forever. Come on, somebody, Jerica, talk to because I can't see. And all right, I'm gonna go get my students, because my students off the hook, because they'll say something. Y'all get ready. Y'all get ready. Yeah. No. So what do you?
Dr. Nunny, you saying is 100% right, and we have to stop this as a teacher level, and that's what's making me go to open a daycare of loving kids to become much better when they get to be adults. We have to take control, like you're saying. You don't love self, how are you gonna love my children? Because you still in 2024 and in Berkeley, California, you still got our black kids going on a bus
Yeah,
by
I try
these
to
white.
take the teaching the bay and take it. Yeah, yeah. The love one, like what love got to do with teaching? With teacher, it's the profession here, teacher Nanny.
Teacher, that sounds like one of my Chinese teachers trying to, yes, I see you. Just tell me you took it. You'll get extra credit, and put yourself back on mute. Go ahead. And finish, Miss Brenda, Miss Dennis. Yeah.
So I'm saying, because we're still seeing the race happening with 9, 8, and 9-year-old in Berkeley and being bullied, and the schools are ignoring that.
Of course.
To a point, like you said, we have to. So we don't want to have to get to a point that our black kids just go to our school, black school. We want to be able to love each other no matter what color, because when things happen, it affects all of us. It affects everything. When all these hurricanes and fires, and it affects all of us. It don't just happen to one race. It happens to all of us, and we all have to learn, like you said, get together. This is your class is off the hook. It's very much off the hook, and more teachers, more teachers need that love kids, that's supposed to love the kids, need to take your class. And by you having all these experience going abroad, makes a difference in a person's life.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then instead of you staying in the box, because when you stay in the box, it's all about you and about nobody else. So
Thank you,
that's what
Miss
I want.
Dennis. I received that. And what I'm doing, I'm saying Wahota sang. And Wahota sang means my spirit bows to your spirit. And I forgot to, before I started, I was supposed to ask permission of the elders to speak. So please forgive me for not doing that. Everything was all goofy, but I always ask my elders permission first. So please forgive me for not doing that. And thank you for saying what you said. And so, yeah, and I think we're no, we're almost just a few more minutes. Y'all can sign out. Thank you for saying to me.
Thank you, Dr. Nunley. Thank you so much for this really important conversation. I was just texting other faculty saying, this is the most important conversation teachers need to be having. So I appreciate you for holding space for us to have this conversation. I hope that folks will continue to connect with you and the work that you're doing. I want to make sure that folks see the evaluation form in the chat. I dropped it in there. I'll drop it in again. Everyone say goodbye, but if you don't mind filling out the evaluation form, that would be wonderful. And then also just want to encourage you, there are still many workshops in this conference to attend and stay inspired. There are some really amazing plenary sessions planned for tomorrow and closing panels on Saturday. So find something else in the Teach for the Babe website. I'll drop that in the chat too, and consider attending something else for the conference. We appreciate all of your participation, and we appreciate presenters like Dr. Nunley, who are donating their time and their expertise to grow teacher pathways here in the Bay Area. Thank you, everyone, and have a great evening.